All right, picture this. It's fall. The leaves are crunchy, the pumpkin spice is flowing, and everyone's out here acting like autumn is just cozy sweaters and apple cider. But here's the thing nobody wants to talk about. Fall is also when nature decides to get absolutely unhinged, when old houses start making sounds they definitely shouldn't make, and when the universe basically goes, you know what? Let's make things weird. So buckle up, because today we're diving into 10 true fall horror stories that'll make you think twice before taking that scenic autumn hike. And trust me, number 7, absolutely diabolical. So we're starting strong with the Dyatlov Pass incident. But wait, before you roll your eyes like, that's winter, let me stop you right there. The expedition started in late autumn, which is when everything went wrong. 9 experienced hikers set out in the Ural Mountains in 1959, and by February, they were found dead under circumstances so bizarre that even the Soviet government was like, yeah, we got nothing. Hypothermia, sure, but some had fractured skulls. One was missing her tongue, and their tent was ripped open from the inside. They fled into negative 40-degree weather in their underwear. Something made 9 seasoned hikers choose freezing to death over staying in their tent. Let that simmer for a second. But hey, at least they were in the wilderness, right? Surely you're safe in your own backyard during a nice autumn evening. Wrong. Because in 1973, a family in Rhode Island decided fall was the perfect time to move into a gorgeous farmhouse. You know, very New England autumn aesthetic. The parents thought they hit the jackpot. 10 rooms, lots of land, peak fall vibes. Except their new house came with a roommate nobody mentioned, Bathsheba Sherman, a dead witch from the 1800s who was not about the whole sharing concept. We're talking objects flying across rooms, beds levitating, and one of the daughters getting possessed so hard they had to call in Ed and Lorraine Warren. Yeah, those Warrens, the ones from The Conjuring, because that movie, based on this house. This family's cozy autumn move in became her literal exorcism situation. But sure, keep romanticizing those fall farmhouses on Instagram. Speaking of things that seem harmless in autumn, ever heard of the Zone of Death? It's a real place in Yellowstone National Park, and fall is prime tourist season there. Here's where it gets legally terrifying. There's a 50 square mile section of Idaho where, technically, due to a constitutional loophole, you could commit murder and get away with it. No jury can be formed because no one lives there, but it's in Idaho's jurisdiction. In 2007, a law professor literally wrote a paper explaining this loophole. And the government's response? Crickets. They just didn't fix it. So every fall, thousands of tourists are hiking through this area, completely unaware they're in a literal legal murder zone. Sleep tight. But at least that's just theoretical danger, right? Now let's talk about something that actually happened. October 1938. Orson Welles decides to do a little radio drama of War of the Worlds on CBS. Except he made it sound so realistic that people genuinely thought aliens were invading during prime autumn evening hours. We're talking mass hysteria. People fleeing cities, loading guns, wrapping their heads in wet towels, thinking it would protect them from poison gas. One woman in Pittsburgh almost drank poison because she'd rather die this way than like that. All because of a radio show. The kicker? Only about 2% of people listening actually panicked, but the media ran with the story. creating this mass panic narrative. So basically, fall 1938 was when we learned that fake news could literally make people want to unalive themselves. Fun times. And if you think that's wild, wait until you hear what happened in a small Pennsylvania town one autumn, Centralia, Pennsylvania. Once a cute little mining town, perfect for fall foliage tours. Then in October 1962, they decided to burn some trash in an abandoned coal mine. Standard fall cleanup, right? Except they accidentally set an underground coal seam on fire. And here's the punchline: it's still burning. We're talking 60 plus years of an underground inferno that's turned this place into a literal ghost town. The ground randomly collapses, poisonous gases seep through cracks, and smoke rises from the earth like something out of Silent Hill. In fact, Silent Hill was based on this place. The government tried to evacuate everyone, bought out their properties, and now only like 5 people still live there. 5 people, surrounded by the earth itself being on fire. That's not horror, that's commitment. But hey, at least you can leave Centralia. Some people weren't so lucky. The Great Smog of London, autumn 1952. Sounds boring, right? Wrong. Imagine this. It's a chilly December evening. You're walking home through the fog. Very atmospheric, very gothic. Except the fog is literally killing you. This wasn't regular fog. It was a toxic mix of coal smoke and fog so thick you couldn't see your own feet. 5 days of this stuff killed over 12,000 people. 12,000 people walking into the Thames because they couldn't see the river. Cattle suffocating at a show. The fog was so thick, it seeped into buildings. Movie theaters shut down because people couldn't see the screens through the smog inside. And get this, the government initially tried to downplay it, claiming only like 4,000 people died. As if that's better. This is what happens when pollution meets autumn weather, and suddenly nature goes, you know what? I'm done with you. Now, let's shift from atmospheric horror to something a bit more fungal. Every fall, people go mushroom foraging. It's aesthetic, it's trendy, it screams cottagecore. But here's the thing about death cap mushrooms. They look exactly like edible mushrooms. They smell amazing when cooked, and they will absolutely destroy your liver. We're talking one cap can kill you. And autumn is peak mushroom season. In 2016, a whole family in California had a lovely fall mushroom dinner. They foraged themselves. Fast forward 36 hours, multiple organ failure across the board. One person died, the others needed liver transplants. The mushrooms literally looked like the safe ones. There's no antidote, no quick fix. You eat it in fall, you're in the ER by Halloween. Moral of the story? Maybe just buy your mushrooms at Whole Foods and call it a day. But if you think fungi are scary, wait until you hear about what happened in Salem, one autumn, 1692, Salem, Massachusetts. Peak fall season. And someone decided this was the perfect time to start accusing people of witchcraft. We all know the story, but here's what's truly terrifying. It started with a few teenage girls having fits in September, and by October, they were hanging people based on spectral evidence, aka, I saw her ghost choking me in my dreams. No physical evidence, no real trials, just vibes and hysteria. 19 people executed, one pressed to death with stones, and dozens more imprisoned. All because of autumn paranoia and mass hysteria. And the kicker? Some historians think it might have been caused by ergot fungus in the rye. Basically, everyone was accidentally tripping on moldy bread and decided to execute their neighbors about it. Fall in New England really hits different. And finally, let's end with something that's still happening every autumn: the midnight game. This one's an internet urban legend that gained traction in the 2010s, but it's allegedly based on an old pagan ritual. Here's how it works: you light a candle, knock on your door 22 times at midnight, write your name on paper, and invite the midnight man into your house. Then you spend the night trying to avoid him in the dark. Sounds fake, right? Except every fall, teenagers try this during Halloween season, and the stories that come out are wild. Candles going out in windless rooms, scratches appearing, people having full psychological breaks. Whether it's real or just mass suggestion doesn't matter. People are out here voluntarily summoning entities during the spookiest season of the year. Like, we learned nothing from Salem, apparently.
So there you have it. 10 true fall horror stories that prove autumn isn't all pumpkin patches and flannel shirts. From government cover-ups to literal underground fires to mushrooms that will end you, fall is basically nature's way of keeping us humble. Now here's what I need from you. Drop a comment telling me which story freaked you out the most. Or better yet, if you have a true fall horror story, share it below, because I'm always looking for more nightmare fuel. And if you made it this far, without checking if your doors are locked, you're braver than me. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next deep dive into the weird and terrifying. Smash the like button if this made you rethink your fall camping trip. And remember, when autumn rolls around and everything seems peaceful, that's when you should be most suspicious. Stay spooky, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.